There is a swap by. Does he go for it? He goes for
Oh
it. No, it gets swapped on.
No way! Caleb!
Wow.
Caleb,
Really smart play by Caleb.
Hey everyone, so today I'll be covering something a little different. It's called Go Battle League Arena. For short, it's also known as GBLA, and it is a tournament format that's hosted by Speedish Chief 2, a big streamer, also world champion of Sylph Arena. Essentially, GBLA is a week-to-week tournament bracket where the top 8 ranked players on the leaderboard get to participate and duke it out to see who wins by the end of the bracket, and the winners of the bracket also move on to a championship round at the very end of the season. I fortunately was lucky enough to get invited to the first week of GBLA, and this was back during Great League Remix, so the footage is a little bit older. Taking a look at the bracket here, some of these names you probably know. In fact, a lot of them you probably know because they're often on the leaderboard. Some of them are big streamers as well. And for the most part, Speedish Chief tries to invite the top 8 on a week-to-week basis, but sometimes he's not able to get in touch with all of them. So I think I was ranked number 9th in the world at the time when I got the invite. But regardless, all of these players are top-tier players. And yeah, we got some interesting battles for you all. Before I get into battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to some of my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the link down below. And so also a big shout out to Speedish Chief for sending me the footage of both POVs. So as you can see here, I am on the right side here, and I am using my signature Bastion and Pelper Mew line. Sorry, I forgot the entire line myself. But anyway, one of the teams I like to deem as the best Great League Open team. Obviously I'm biased here, but that is my opinion on the matter. Alright, so I'm going against Inadequance in round 1 here. And so the way the format is you do Open Great League in the first battle, a Great League Remix, or the current meta, so at the time it was Great League Remix. For the second battle, and for the third one, it's a coin toss if there needs to be a third battle. So going here again, as you can see, my Pelper is actually very, very strong as a safe swap against the Open Great League meta. And I'm going to come in here with Bastion. I figured there's probably a good chance that he does have Hydro Pump, but I want to take that move on my Bastion. Shields are all down at this point, so I'm going to go straight with Surf on Mew here. Looks like Inadequance is actually running Shadow Ball instead of Shadow Ball and then Fire Blast. He did mention to me after that it wasn't the right AWAC he wanted to use, so definitely a little unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I think it would have been close either way, because my Bastion would be able to farm down the AWAC and drop a Stone Edge onto Azu. But yeah, able to win battle number 1, and now we are going to Great League Remix. So these battles are best of 3 GBL styles, so blind 3s. So what I was thinking here is that at the time my Shadow Lapras, Frostlass, and Shadow Machamp line was very popular and a lot of people knew about it. So my play was I'm going to switch the order up a bit. I'm going to put in Shadow Machamp first instead, and I'm going to farm down this what do you call it, this Dragology here. And then these Surfs are definitely going to start chipping away at the Empoleon, so I'm pretty okay with that. I didn't know what he had in the backline at the moment, but as you can see, able to grab a shield here, which is huge. At this point, I come in Machamp and try to farm this guy down. I decide to let this go. Main reason being, if they have an Empoleon lead, there's a good chance they have another Machamp countered back, so my Machamp probably doesn't have much utility. And as predicted, it was a Shadow Dragonite and able to finish off the Empoleon there. So as you can see, able to win the first round, and you can see some of the first round winners as well in the rest of the bracket. And I am going to be going against Cool Kid in this second round of the tournament. So again, Great League Open, you know, I gotta use my signature line, right? If it's the best line in Great League, I gotta stand by it. So I do go into GFIS lead, which is not great, but honestly, I don't mind it too much. Most people that run GFIS in the lead tend to be weak to Bastion in the back to some degree. But looking at Cool Kid's lineup right now, it doesn't look like his team is super weak to it, but our switch timers are misaligned at this point. So because of that, I'm able to drop this Hurricane, and I should be able to swap into my Bastion here. They decided to try to farm me down there, and this allows me to swap out, and I do have my Bastion locked into the shell set here. Alright, so I'm just going to go straight for farm down, no need to shield anything. Luckily, it wasn't a Bubble Beam, so these Rock Slides can still do a decent chunk of damage. against this G-Fist. Bastion needs a little bit more than 2 flamethrowers if it's at full health for G-Fist, but at this range, I should be able to take it out. And he actually farms, tries to farm, farms a bunch of energy and then swaps out. At this point, he locks in the Deoxys into my Mew, and then I'm in a pretty good spot at this point because Mew is going to be able to check this, and I'm going to overfarm a little bit here. Throw the Surf. He does a great job of not shielding there, and based on the counts, I knew this could not have been another Thunderbolt. If he was running Rock Slide, he would have ran that earlier, so I figured it had to be a Psycho Boost. So, does have a bunch of energy, decides to try to undercharge here, but I still had a move saved on my Pelipper, or almost a move saved, so I do throw that right away, and able to take out the G-Fist. So, again, even against bad leads such as G-Fist, definitely still have some play. So, kind of the same strategy here, same Shadow Machamp lead with the double ice in the back. Again, expecting people to think that I would bring Lapras, because that was the team that I was sharing at the time, so I kind of wanted to, you know, play little mind games there. So they brought a Escavalier, which obviously makes sense, very good against Lapras. But now they bring in the Wigglytuff here, and I bring in my Lapras. Lapras can do quite a bit of work against Wigglytuff, especially from here. I probably could have farmed this Wigglytuff a little bit more. That's probably my mistake here. But if you can see what's in the back line, it's going to be a little tough. So it is a Jellicent. This is going to be quite bad. This Jellicent is going to get a lot of energy against my Lapras. There's really no need for them to shield, and they can farm up a bunch. So this is really bad. This is usually like a more semi-neutral matchup with Frostlass. Frostlass has some bait potential with Avalanche, and Jellicent has some bait potential with Bubble Beam. But at this point in the stage, I knew they're way ahead on energy. So I definitely have to bait with the Avalanche here. Avalanche probably would come close to KOing it, and I had to sack there, but unfortunately was not able to time it well, and Cool Kid was able to also be patient on their timing of the moves, right? I think even if I don't know, I feel like even if I called the move, I probably still would have lost. Alright, so we go into game number 3. This is Open Great League again. That's what the dice rolled. So for our tiebreaker, we are going Open Great League. This is actually an old team that I created probably 2 seasons ago. It's Ninetales with Shadow Lapras and Tropius. It was an Ice Grass team, kind of an ABB team in some ways as well. And I figured most people aren't really fully aware of all my teams, and if they were, you know, they don't know exactly which ones I'm going to bring. So I wanted to bring out something a little bit older just to see if I could catch people off guard. Obviously, this Jellicent has a lot of play against my backline, so I need to chunk their way at this as much as possible. I had a feeling that it's probably the same Jellicent that I saw earlier, so it probably wasn't running Bubble Beam. So I am going to force them to shield here, get them really thinking that there's something that they don't want to see, there's something I don't want to see the Jellicent in, so I force them to actually double shield here, which is actually pretty nice. I'm going to shield this Shadow Ball first, and then I am able to tank another one. So at this point, I need to farm up a lot of energy here. Dazzling Gleam would be the right move here, but I was anticipating a potential sack, so that's why I actually threw a Weather Ball in case they sacked it. If they don't sack it, that's fine, because Jellicent's in Powder Snow range. But if I went for Dazzling Gleam there, I wouldn't have enough time to get to another Weather Ball, right? And then that was the play, and able to farm down. So, we are entering the final championship round here against MagicMayson, also a great battler. And we're going to see kind of how that plays out. This will be a best of 5. So first 2 will be Great League, next 2 will be Great League Remix, and then 5th one will be one of the 2 if a tiebreaker is needed. So again, like I said, I am going to run my Bastion online if in every single first Great League game at least. That was my game plan. I figured I don't care what people bring as a lead. It's a team that I think is very, very strong against almost most teams, unless you're hard countered in every single matchup. But again, my opponent is not swapping out here, right? So now our timers have misaligned. Really great catch by MagicMayson to catch this Weather Ball here. So I know that I could get to another Weather Ball before he gets to a Frenzy Plant, and I'm going to swap to my Bastion. At this point, I don't mind getting hit by these Frenzy Plants. I don't really need Bastion too much. I have some MG's nice. Having low health, no big deal, because the G-Fist can't really Rock Slide me down, right? So I'm not too worried there, and then I'm going to farm up a bunch of energy here. As you can see, they just got to a Frenzy. Even if they did get to that Frenzy, I'd probably let it go. So, I am unfortunately locked into a Surf Edge, which is a little bit tricky. So I'm going to come in with Mew here and hope that they blind through a Leaf Blade, and that was the case. The animation glitch, Mew actually has a little bit more health there. But the thing is, even if they went Night Slash there, I knew I'd live it. So there was really no reason for me to shield. I'm going to shield this next move here, and then try to farm quite a bit of energy here, and just get to the Surf just in time before they got to Earthquake. Rock Slide would not be able to KO me, and I'm going to try to Shadow Claw down, and I was able to. So, again, Bastion going into 2 hard checks to it, one the lead and a semi-soft check with Venusaur. Still have a lot of play, all right? So, again, I decided to go with my double Ice and Tropius line, kind of expecting people not to be super familiar with it. So I am, again, Vigoroth, very, very strong though, even in these negative matchups where counters resisted. I decided I overfarmed a little bit here. Maybe it was a bad idea, but I decided to just let this go. At this point, I figured my Ninetales has a lot of play, so I'm just going to farm it down. But unfortunately, it gets to another Body Slam too, so that's kind of rough. But let's see what they come in with. Pelipper, still not the best matchup against a Powder Snow Ninetales, so I figured my backline still has a lot of play against Pelipper, so I didn't really mind losing Switch, but at this point, I don't really know what the backline mon is. So I go to my Lapras to draw it out, and it is a G-Fist. So in this situation, I should be in a good spot. Shadow Lapras could beat G-Fist here, especially with the shield advantage. I think the big thing is figuring out what I need to shield here. I am letting a few moves go through, which is a little unfortunate, and I do grab that last shield, which is perfect. So I know I survive a Rock Slide, so I decided to let it go, but looking back on it, I think that was a bad play. It takes much longer to get to a Hurricane than a Rock Slide. So, as you can see, I swap here, and I don't know. MagicMayson did have a lot of energy, so, but the thing is, he would have to drop all of his energy on my Lapras to take it out, and at that point, I should be able to, I don't know, it would have been close. But he definitely played that well despite a bad lead. Alright, so we are 1-1 at the moment going into game number 3. So this is, again, best of 5. I decided to use a completely different team. So again, expecting that people expect my Lapras in the lead, as you can see, is Empoleon. So on MagicMayson side, so definitely was good to run Dragalge here. Dragalge's not great against this thing, but I do have an okay I do have an okay matchup, as you can see here, because you're resisting that water damage, and I definitely don't want to see them pull on the back. I'm kind of expecting that their backline is quite weak to my backline, so we do, I think, CMP here. I probably should have just held off a little bit, but that's fine. I decided to burn my last shield here. I know the Empoleon is quite low, and I'm expecting probably a poison in the back, and it is a poison, so it's going to be Nidoqueen here. This is going to not be too great for MagicMayson here, because their Empoleon is quite low. Yeah, this was a team that I legit just came up with right before we battled. I was just thinking of like interesting team comps that might work out pretty well. And I'm going to get hit with the Hydro Cannon here, but Diggersby, very, very bulky. I do have an XL Diggersby as well, and then able to farm up all the way to Earthquake and a one-shot this Nidoqueen. So we are going into battle number 4, one more for me to win and one more for MagicMayson to tie. And so I decided to go with my signature Lapras line. I was like, you know what? Everyone's been anticipating it, but I haven't been bringing it, so I should be able to catch them off guard. But the moment I saw this, I was like, I'm in a tough spot. This looks like it might be double poison in the back or double fight encounter, and that's going to be really rough for my team. So I decided to just expend my Machamp right there, because I was like, you know what, I need an energy lead. They have 2 counters in the back. I don't really want them to farm down my Lapras, worst case scenario, right? Grab at least a shield with the Rock Slide, which is nice. And I saw the Lapras, which I probably need to save for a sack, but it's not good. Golbat has a decent amount of play against Frost, especially with this much energy. I do have a shield advantage, but, you know, as you can see, he's very close to that Shadow Ball and still has a shield. So I'm in a really tough spot here. I do get to the Avalanche here and able to force a shield, which means that they're definitely going for a Shadow Ball next. Just had to time this, and luckily I was able to call the right timing there. As you can see, MagicMayson actually went a little bit over Shadow Ball, probably expecting me to sack, so I had to go a little bit over myself too. Able to get the perfect sack and able to farm down the Golbat and able to win. First week of GBLA. We are currently at maybe week 6 of GBLA this week, and they are on Swedish Chief's Twitch every single week on Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. So I'll link Speedius's Twitch down below. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed some interesting GBLA content. And be sure to stay tuned for the championship of GBLA. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell if you'd like to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll see y'all next time.